Welcome back to another episode of Louisiana, our home state. Here we're in Baton Rouge, still in our backyard. Today we're watching St. Patrick's Day parade, celebrating the Irish. The parade wearing of the green. And we'll start off this by the first thing that we'll come to is the runners, a 5K race running through town. Here all the runners come out. They'll run during through the parade route and go back to the start of the parade. And in case you're wondering why, well, we're at the 100 Oaks area. And you can tell behind me the reason that it's called the 100 Oaks area. The oak trees are everywhere leaning over the road. So a nice area to live in. 100 Oaks and the St. Patrick's Day and the wearing of the green.
And today is a perfect day for a parade. 70 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, except if you call the little whiff of smoke here and there from the local cooks, cooking crawfish, jambalaya, barbecue, whatever that you can think of. Excellent day for St. Patrick's Day.
So the overpass that we're coming up to is the Perkins Road overpass, coming through the 100 Oaks area. And here, they do something special on the roadway. They paint shamrocks on the road. So we'll see the shamrocks on the road up here. And now we can see the shamrocks painted on the road. And us, our little group. They'll do this every year for St. Patrick's Day.
And this area that we're going to is the Perkins Road overpass. It's the center of everything for St. Patrick's Day. And they know it, and they mark up the price to capitalize on it. Everything here is expensive. So we really didn't buy anything here.
And under the overpass is where everything's happening at. If you can hear me, it's loud. But this is where all the bars, all the live music happens here. So this is how you cook in Louisiana. You may as well get make a big pot if you're going to cook. So this is about a 15 or 20 gallon pot. So that's what you'll cook the jambalaya in.
March 17th is the actual St. Patrick's Day, but the parade is held the weekend before, just in time for all the azaleas to bloom, and you could see them all around the area. You may wonder, what is St. Patrick's Day and what is all the hoopla about in Baton Rouge? Well, a whole lot of the area is of Irish descent. Whenever the ships would come from Ireland, they would drop them off in New Orleans and they would immigrate to wherever that they could find property. A lot of them came right to Baton Rouge. And St. Patrick was born British, but was abducted by the Irish. He spent over 6 years in Ireland where he found God. God eventually told him to go to the coast where a ship would take him home, and it did. He brought him right back home, where he converted over and became a priest. After becoming a priest, he went right back to Ireland, the same people who kidnapped him, and began to convert thousands of people. And that's with that, the day he died, March 17th, was his death date. And that is when St. Patrick's Day was born, the big saint of Ireland.
And the parade is about to come. All the motorcycle guys are lined up.
And you know it's St. Patrick's Day with the wearing of the green, and the parade starts with bagpipes and drums from Ireland. Every parade has a Grand Marshal, and this year's Grand Marshal is Jim Cantori. Yes, the same one on the Weather Channel. While he was here, he reported on these same oak trees falling during the storm. But the wood didn't go to waste. What they made of it was a shillelagh. This was an old-time war instrument used in Ireland. A piece of the very trees that he reported on was cut up and made a shillelagh and given to him as a gift for the parade.
Jim Cantori, you know the weather's bad when Jim Cantori comes out. Whoa! Jim Cantori. This is the marshal of the parade. So we have Todd Graves, Baton Rouge native.
Not only did Raising Cane's throw out the traditional throws, they also threw out tickets where they can go to any Raising Cane's and get a 22-ounce lemonade for free. And Todd Graves is known with hanging with the stars, and riding at the very front of the float is LSU's new football head coach, Lane Kiffin.
Waste Pro, their job stinks, but it's picking up. The retired LSU folks. She's a retired LSU band member. One of the famous groups here. You've seen them in all the parades. The Macy's Day Parade, a bunch of other ones.
Each of these floats has its own DJ riding right along the float with music piped in. Of course, all that music is copyrighted and some of it is not appropriate for YouTube. So I'll just flood the area with appropriate music from Ireland. The riders of each float are called a crew. That's Krewe. A crew is all the riders of that particular float, and each float has a different name for its crew. Each crew can build and decorate their own float, or they can hire it out, kind of like the one that you see coming up. The money required to build the float is split amongst all the crew members, so the price could come up into the thousands of dollars just to ride on the float. And that price doesn't include any of the things that you're throwing off the float, so the throws are extra. And that also could run into the thousands of dollars depending on what you're planning on throwing. Some of the best throws to catch off the parade are lucky. They are carrots, potatoes, yams, or even cabbage. Anything you would put in a good soup. This goes back to history when that many of the Irish left Ireland. They immigrated to the U.S. or passed away in the Great Irish Potato Famine. In the mid-1800s, the population of Ireland was over 8 million. By the end of the 1800s and 1900s, the population had dropped to 4 million. 2 million of those immigrated, the rest perished during the Great Irish Potato Famine. So if you catch produce, don't think of it as some sort of crazy throw. It's to symbolize those who were left behind and possibly perished in the home country of Ireland. If you've seen a previous episode where that we showed the Spanish Town Parade in Baton Rouge, well, that was a little bit rowdy parade. This one is more tame. This is a family-friendly parade going through 100 Oaks and the Garden District. This is amongst all the residences of people who live here and all the majestic oak trees lining the parade route. So this one, you won't find any scary throws or have obscene floats on there. They have strict rules on this that prevent any of that. And you'll even have themes on different floats, like Ric Flair and his crew. It is encouraged to bring the kids out, and if the crews see them, they're more than likely going to throw a lot of stuff at the kids before the adults. So the only place that you may want to keep the kids away from is the Perkins Road overpass area. That's the area that we showed you with all the bars, drinks, and things like that. You may want to keep the kids out of that area because they never know what words are going to be said there or what songs are going to be played. And as the parade keeps rolling along, in just a second you'll see one person from our group catch a lucky vegetable, a carrot. Remember, carrots are lucky because they were food, and back when the Irish were coming over, they were starving. But all this music is copyrighted, so I can't show it, but what I will do is briefly turn back on the sound so you can hear a little bit of whenever that she catches the carrot. Hopefully, there's no copyright issues in this few second clip.
Hold up. Michelle. A carrot. You never know what you're going to catch here.
And whenever I say you'll catch anything, like I say, you can catch vegetables, or you may catch a little bit of hot sauce. We're in Louisiana, so not necessarily out of the question. But you'll also catch a little duck from the Bishop of Baton Rouge, or socks thrown out. So like I say, there's no telling what you're going to catch. You may even catch a little bit of flair from Ric Flair. And we even had people who knew that we were coming, so they set a couple bags on the side, waiting to find us during the parade. So always exciting when you know somebody. So in this parade, there are close to 100 floats that roll by. And in between, sometimes you have bands from schools all around the area, or dance teams, or no telling what kind of stuff is going to be in between. Like I say, you saw the retired people, or the bagpipes. So there's all kinds of stuff in between floats. So the parade lasts a couple of hours from beginning first float to the last float that comes by. So don't be in a big hurry to leave.
I didn't catch this flake. It's an armadillo with his legs up in the air. So the float is an armadillo.
And it's right back to the loud copyrighted material. And as you can see, this float had an alligator and the nature of around Louisiana on there. We're going to show you that in some of our upcoming episodes. But here you can see our son caught a little rubber duck. You'll see us hiding those whenever that we go back out on the cruise ships with some of the other ones that we found. Of course, that duck that we saw earlier from the Bishop of Baton Rouge, he's going out too. We'll be hiding him on a future trip. And what we do on some of these cruises that we go on is we wear Mardi Gras beads and hand them out to other people who may be in the Facebook group. So if you see us in a Facebook group or see us wearing Mardi Gras beads, come say hey. And we'll show you some love, Louisiana style, with some Mardi Gras beads.
And you have to watch out whenever that you're in the parade. Sometimes the parade comes at you. Ended up with an injury on the parade. So watch what's being thrown your way. And it comes from every direction. But back to the parade.
What happened here is somebody threw a big bottle of bubbles. It bounced off somebody else's hand and whacked me in the head. But luckily the lady behind me was there to pick up the bubbles real fast. So she's entitled to it. She caught it.
So another tradition, whenever that the parade is going, they throw out basketballs and you try to throw it in the basketball hoop. So throw the ball in the hoop, catch the basketball, throw it in the hoop. Hey! Somebody made it. And what you do if you know somebody that's on a float, you sit out and get their attention. That way they give you a full bag of stuff, like you see over there. All kinds of stuff. The crew of Adel. Hey! Stacy! Hey! is usually the last float is the old fire truck. And if you look behind, the police are coming, and behind that cleaning up everything. And as you can see, it's a mess out here. More stuff than people could catch all along the fleet. So they'll have folks come out to clean it up. And for our group, we got all kinds of stuff also. We have probably 5 bags of stuff down there, the things that we caught. So plenty for everybody. And this is what the cleaning looks like. They have big street sweepers that come out and clean up everything on the street.
Yeah, there's another one coming over.
Another one behind us.
Everything on the street.
And from the spot we were at, you could catch the parade twice if you want to. Once going down and once coming back. As you can see straight up ahead of us, it's just 2 blocks over, is the parade again. So if you wanted to, that one spot you can catch it twice. And we have caught enough, I think. We are probably going to be heading out of here as soon as the traffic clears up. But we caught some unique stuff. Sour Patch Kids, Nerds, moon pies, ducks. You'll see some of those in the future videos. But all kinds of stuff we have caught here. And like I say, most of it seems like it's still laying on the ground. But our group is packed up with all kinds of stuff, loaded down, heading to the car. And the parade is still going on this side. You can see it's a whole lot more crowded in the popular area. But more floats are on the way. Way back here, you can still see them coming. And that's it for today's St. Patrick's Day. That's 2 things we've had in Baton Rouge so far. Next, we'll have the Strawberry Festival. That'll be the next thing we'll do. That'll be in Ponchatoula. So we'll try Ponchatoula, adding that to the next thing on our list of Louisiana, my home state.
Thanks for watching this episode of Louisiana, our home state, where we took you to Baton Rouge, where we have the St. Patrick's Day Parade. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the bell to get notified when each episode comes out. Or just hit the thumbs up. That way you give a big like to the channel. And as always, thanks for watching.